of some sort, because we have the president's, children moving around, doing things as well. That some Folashade Ojo the other time, tried to take over the markets in Benin, basically to become Iyaloja of the nation. What are we? What does this portend for Nigeria?
You see, I'll start by giving out a general overview of what we are witnessing. There's nothing that would ever happen in Nigeria that we don't have a precedent. I recall in 1997, 98, when Abacha promised us that he was going to hand over power. And he also positioned himself to transmute to a civilian president. And all the 5 political parties at that time, one after the other, in quick succession, adopted him as their candidate. And that was why late Chief Bola Ige described it as 5 fingers of a leprous hand. And he also went further to say that we may not, at the end of the day, be able to handle the implosion. But God in his mercy somehow settled that crisis without anybody's input. Now, coming to the current situation here, you see, at the risk of being challenged, the undercurrent in PDP, as influenced by Wike, the FCT minister, had made it very uncomfortable for anybody that wants to win next election to stay in PDP. And so, what we are witnessing is the first law of nature, which is survival or self-preservation. And so those governors, it's not as if they love APC. It is simply a game of survival.
So why don't they choose any other political party? Why must it be APC?
Now, I'll come to your question. These people, they know that the landmine in PDP is so strong that no matter how hard you want to navigate through it, survival is not guaranteed. If a party of PDP signs your form and you go ahead to contest that election, and then the people that owns INEC looks at the picture and say, okay, 6 PDP governors had gone ahead. Their forms were signed by Ayawu. You guys go to court, and the court says anything done by Ayawu faction is declared null and void. We had an experience in Zamfara. That is a clear signal for these governors. And there's no likelihood that PDP crisis will be resolved before the next election, because the players that are fanning the embers in PDP, they are not relenting. So this is the reason why they had to pause.
Okay, I'm going to take you up on something.
Secondly,
excuse me, please. I'm going to take you up on something later. Okay. The people that own INEC, that's a phrase that you just made. So I'll take you up on that later. Go ahead, please.
Now, to your question, why are they not going to other political parties?
Yes.
As of today, there are 4 dominant political parties in Nigeria: Labour Party, ADC, EDP, and APC. The same problem that PDP has is what Labour Party has. As of today, there are 2 factions, and there is heated contestation for authenticity by the two factions. And they left it hanging so that let's see how far you can go. If you go to the left, we can always hang you with the rope from
Would
the
you
right.
say that that's the same thing with the ADC? Because we don't have any...
Now, ADC
Okay.
is just coming up. It's still amoebic in nature. You can't predict the shape and form APC will come up with. And there is likely to be an implosion in ADC.
All right.
Because it is top heavy.
All right.
When you have a political party that is top heavy and there is no concession,
Okay.
then it's like you have about four drivers manning a car.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go to Port Harcourt, where we have engineer Kinani Sam. Good morning to you.
Good morning, sirs.
Good to have you join the conversation. Engineer Kinani Sam is a political affairs commentator, Rivers State deputy governorship candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general elections. He's also an instrumentation and control engineer. We'll probably talk about that other aspect much later. But the party that you ran under, are you still a member of the Labour Party?
Member of the Labour Party and do not think of leaving the Labour Party any soon.
Do you still intend to run for a political office?
Well, time will tell. That is not something.
I'm not certain I heard you right because the audio here is quite low. Okay, we have a network glitch there, but we'll come back to Engineer Kinani Sam. I believe I heard him say he's not leaving the Labour Party
he's not
anytime
leaving
soon.
anytime soon.
Fantastic. Now we got to find out what faction he's with in the Labour Party. Oh, well, let's go to Lochnan Dombin. Lochnan, good morning. Good to have you join the conversation. Now, with everything going on in the political space, more governors defecting from their parties, usually the PDP, to the APC, and automatically, when they defect to the APC, they become the leader of the party in their states. Some are afraid that there might be some sort of implosion and infighting in the coming days within these states, within the APC, really. What are your thoughts on this?
First of all, it's great to see you, Moses.
Great to see you too, always.
Yeah. My thoughts on this, first of all, I'm thinking, why is it even allowed? You know what I mean? Why are people allowed to just jump from one party to another, whichever way they feel like at any time? That shouldn't be allowed, quite frankly. It makes a mockery of the whole system, in my opinion. I mean, if you look at it, even in sports, for instance, sports is a job. So the players who play for various teams, really, they're not fans. I know that fans even get angry when players leave their team, but the truth is they're doing a job. They're not fans. But even at that, there are rules. You have the transfer window, and you can't just decide to, leave one team or leave a team for another team whenever you feel like. And secondly, if you're going to leave your party, the party under which on whose platform you ran for election, the party that people voted for, I think it's really unfair to your voters, the people who voted you in, for you to take that position which you won on that platform and take it to another party. I mean, does it make sense to you, Moses? Really? So my first thought, and really, is why is it even being allowed? I really think something should be done. Now, people can leave the party, but there should be rules to it.
What do you think should
I
be
really
done?
think that if you're going to leave the party,
Okay.
then you should step down. Because
step down.
they didn't vote for, let's say, for instance, you're a PDP governor. The people who voted you in did not vote for PDP.
Well, the
They voted
Constitution
for-
states that if your party is in chaos, if you have issues within your party, you can leave. And there are issues in the PDP. There are
Where did
issues in
those
the
issues
Labour
come-
Party as well.
You see, that's another loophole. Where did those issues come from? It gives people, the kind of people, I'm sorry to say this, but the kind of people who we're dealing with here, often people who will do anything. It's a do or die situation. It's like World War III for them. So that clause creates a loophole that can be exploited. And that is exactly what is happening.
Okay.
Where do these issues come from?
All right.
It could so easily be engineered, so easily be,
Okay. All right. Mr. Bambi, let me stay with you. Good to see you again. As we discuss this issue of defection, I want us to go back to what happened on Tuesday in Enugu when Peter Mba effectively, officially dumped the PDP and now joined the APC. The Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima, was on hand to receive him, into the APC fold. You know what? The Vice President said, now with the coming of Governor Peter Mba and with the energy governors of Hope Uzodinma, Imo State, and Francis Mufu Ebonyi, the Southeast has come to the mainstream of Nigerian politics. Peter Mba joining the APC has brought the Southeast into the mainstream of Nigerian politics. Could you open a little window into the mind of the Vice President and let us understand what he meant by that? Because at some point, we had the 5 Southeast states, in the PDP when the PDP was at the center, at the national level. So does it mean that the Southeast wasn't in mainstream Nigerian politics then? But just with the defection of one man, Southeast has now been brought into the mainstream of Nigerian politics. What kind of statement would that be?
Look, your last man just took the words out of my mouth. One man does not mean an entire region is going in a certain direction. The truth of the matter is that statement by the Vice President, to me, is the most undemocratic thing I've heard in a while. Because what it implies is that with the defection of just that one individual, they feel like they have the whole state in a bag, and it really shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. One man shouldn't determine the direction in which an entire state is going to vote. And these things happen because the truth of the matter is what we're practicing here is not really democracy. Because if it was, they would know that he's just one man and he should have just one vote. Now, quite okay, he might possess a certain degree of clout. He has followers, people who might want to follow him. But even at that, it should still boil down to the electorate. And people should be in a free and fair election. You see, which brings me back to the most important point in this whole thing is really electoral reform. Because if we had a system that nobody could pocket, all these things wouldn't happen. And I know for a fact that people wouldn't be abandoning their party the way they are now.
All right.
Because at the end of
Okay, well, let's start with you, Mr. Luknam. Okay, you're talking about electoral reform and all that. You have one already on the floor of the National Assembly. The deliberation is also ongoing. But what do you think will be the outcome of it, with the fact that All Progressives Congress, that happen to be the ruling party, have already clinched the 2/3 majority in the Senate? With the defection and all that happening, people moving into the party, they now have a unanimous voice that can say this is how we want it, and that actually will happen. And what does that also speak to the one-party state or system that some Nigerians have been talking about ever since the scale of defection into the APC began?
I think we're actually in danger of sliding into a one-party state, to be totally honest. I've seen worse situations, but the only places I can think of where the situations are worse are places like Syria under Assad. You remember the sham of an election that he held just to appease the international community when he was under pressure, where they had armed men standing, forcing people to vote for him, and he won like 90-something% of the. We haven't come to that stage in Nigeria, but it's getting really, really close to that. And as for what I think is going to happen in the National Assembly, well, if in the past you could call it a rubber stamp assembly, I think now it's it's a concrete written in stone assembly, because
Concrete written in
obviously
stone.
whoever's
On
in
behalf
power
of
gets
one
what they
person.
want. And they're not supposed to be, holding hands and singing Ring Around the Rosie. There's supposed to be some kind of opposition, and that's what, creates the checks and balances that are needed. And that is lacking here. And
right.
without checks and balances, well, your guess is as good as mine.
All right then. Concrete written in stone assembly, you say. Well, thank you very much. Let's go back to Engineer Kinani. Sam, I do hope the network will allow us to take your view on this one. Well, can you hear me? Okay, he's not there. Oh well. Well, let's bring you back to the studio now. The people that own INEC, Mr. Fanimo, the people that own INEC, when the people that own INEC say, "Oh, they are having issues here,"
sleep.
Let's
dwell on it. Let's not dwell on it.
No, we will. We will. We'll dwell on it.
No. Let's interrogate it.
It's okay. Let's just
It's asleep.
It's a situation. But they say in Igbo there's a proverb. I don't know if that's
go ahead.
They own a country. People own a country. Yeah, it's a.
There are people. There are a set of people that
own a country.
The community.
Can we effectively say that Nigeria is being owned by a certain individual or a certain few individuals? Seeing that already, it seems like Nigerians are throwing their hands in the air in surrender. Especially when it comes to electioneering, because INEC, as it were. I mean, today we'll see the National Assembly, the Senate, will be interviewing Amukwitan, who, of course, was nominated by the president. And with the way things are going, governors are defecting. We know that it's expected that these governors will work for the president in 2027. And if the words of the Minister of Information is anything to go by, with 30 state governors, with 30 states belonging to the APC, supposedly, we can as well say it's the APC is home and dry in the presidential elections.
Well, I would not want to be dragged into that area of somebody who owns INEC.
But you said it.
It was a sleep.
Nobody's dragging you.
I said it was a sleep.
Oh, okay.
But on the flip side, we all know that there are some people that are powerful in this country, in and out of government. We have seen it happen several times in the past. And there are some elements outside the shores of this country that also have some measure of influence in the affairs of Nigeria. And there are some international corporations that also have some measure of influence in the affairs of this country. We can't rule that out. But to what extent do they have influence? That is what to be interrogated. For instance, in some parts of Taraba, Adamawa, and so, you have big shots like Danjuma, Theophilus Danjuma. He has some measure of influence around that area.
Atiku
Abubakar also has his own influence. IBBT today, even while he's a little bit indisposed, has some measure of influence. People still run to him for either support or advice. So Obasanjo also has his own influence. So we have influential people.
Okay, more like
why would Nigerian presidential candidates flock to Chatham House? Are there more Nigerians in UK than Nigeria? That they go there to go and tell British Parliament and the British government their manifesto? If not, that they know that there are some measure of influence.
Okay. Now, it was a sleep, but some facts have been established based on the analysis you made. I would like for us to go back to Enugu. And permit me, I would like to put you on the spot. I want to simulate a situation. The same question I asked Lokman Dombi, when the vice president said, look, Mba's defection, to the APC has brought the Southeast into the mainstream of Nigerian politics. And Godswill Akpabio was also on hand. You know what he said? He said Mba's defection is a catalyst for development in Igbo land, noting that the entire Southeast senators are now in the APC. According to Akpabio, I have nothing to add except that we are here to support the governor. My wife is from Enugu and my children are relocating here. What I'm seeing today shows that this state is even more beautiful than Abuja. One, as a catalyst, Mba's defection will serve as a catalyst for the development of Igbo land. Mba's defection will bring Igbo land, Southeast into mainstream Nigerian politics. If you were from the Southeast, will you feel insulted with these comments from these two people?
I will not feel insulted.
Okay.
Because when it comes to politics, Akpabio didn't go to Enugu for governance. He went for politics. And he was wearing the toga of politics. And in politics, all is fair in war. So whatever he says, it's just like those days when we were watching wrestling. You see a Lilliputan, when he's faced with the media, you say, don't bother yourself. That guy is just big and tall. In less than a minute, I'll crush him. But even he knows within himself that it's not a match for that kind of giant. Those days when we were watching mascaras, male mascaras, Mighty Igor and all that. So, you don't expect anything different from what Akpabio said. Any politician mounting the rostrum would have said that and even much more because they will want to gloat.
Okay, so it's all fair and good. Meaning that all this while development hadn't come to the Southeast because one person has joined the APC, now development will come to the Southeast.
You never can tell.
Okay.
So does it mean that, keeping the Southeast marginalized and all this?
And that the marginalization will end with Mba's defection to the APC?
That was what they said.
Yes.
I said that was what they said.
Okay. But you don't see anything wrong in that?
We'll wait. Let's see how far. Maybe there was a time when Bianca came into government. They gave us this hope that things will get better in the Southeast. Have we witnessed anything better? Kano was to be released as a result of Bianca joining the government. But up to now, Kano is still in detention.
No, you told us that Kano will be released.
You told us
that Kano will be released because Bianca joined the cabinet.
Up to now, I'm still optimistic.
Okay, more like, all right.
Let's get Engineer Kenan Isam join this conversation. Engineer, welcome back again, all right. What do you make of the fact that even Peter Obi, who happens to be the presidential candidate of Labour Party, the party he belonged to in 2023, he was so vocal and, I will say, a bit upset when some statements were made yesterday and the previous day about how the defection to APC is helping to present opposition Southeast as a region now to the mainstream political space in Nigeria. He said, no region can, be held down just because of one person's defection. Please help us walk around this. And also with the fact that at this point in time, APC more like is taking over every state. And with the words of Fayose, that by 2026, more governors will still defect. Even Idris, who happens to be the Minister of Information, also made us understand that 30 governors had to join APC by 2026.
Good morning once more, and welcome back, as you said. Yeah, for me, it is an exposition, a very strong exposition for the fact that, they had expected so much from the Southeast, and they've not been able to get their expectations through. That is one. Then the other part of it is an exposition on the fact that it has been a deliberate effort for them not to develop the southeastern states. And they had wanted a situation where they would corner the southeastern states into believing in them. And if you also look at how they were able to get power, they believe that with the state governors working for them or rigging for them, it will be easier for them to conquer the southeast or any other part of Nigeria as long as they are working with the state governors. On the fact that they have almost decided within themselves that it is not important. I mean, the masses are not important. the votes of the people is not important to them because they know how they came into power. It has always been through rigging with the governors. But they have forgotten something, that the only thing that is permanent in this nation, in this world where we live, is change. What they think they know better may fail them in the years to come. For the fact that the people are learning every day what they have done in the past, we are also preparing for the future. But for the statement of Obi, let me come to that. Obi is a man who has a foresight. Obi believes in the masses. Obi believes in reality. Obi believes in doing it right. And so because he believes in doing it right, he doesn't see things from their own prism. He doesn't see things from their own limited angle of view. Their limited angle of view is more about forcing the people, forcing the masses, forcing INEC to do their bid. But I tell you, it's going to be a different game. Now, if we look at the development of the Southeast, Enugu is just a state in the Southeast. So if Enugu join them, is it going to develop the Southeast entirely? We have other states that is in the Southeast who may not join them. Does it mean they are not going to get development in those states? So their statement, you can see, like the other discussant said, is purely political, trying to entice the people to believe that APC has anything for them. But I tell you, the government of APC has nothing for Nigerians, as I believe and I have seen and everybody has seen. So whatever they are saying are just gimmicks of winning people's mind, people who do not understand the real reason for APC to be there. Reason for APC to be there is not to develop Nigeria. And let me say this, even if they have the 30 states, we can see what happened between Jonathan and Buhari. They were the majority, but at the right time, what happens? And let me tell them, if they want to know, this is just their last tenure. I'm not too sure if Bola Tinubu will even complete his 8 years, as people think. Because if we in Nigeria, we have decided for a change. And that change which they earlier spoke about, we are going to change for the better. No matter the number of states that is now working or has defected to the APC, will not make us or make Nigeria vote APC again, except with what they are planning is to do exactly what they did in 2023. If that is the case, then, but if they are believing in the masses, they are believing in the votes of Nigeria, I don't think they can be able to win, even if they have all the 36 states working for APC. You can even see what happened in Rivers State. Despite what the minister, the governor then in Rivers State did to support the APC, everybody knows how the casting of the vote was done. The Labour Party won absolutely, not minding the money, the power, the oppression and everything. So if they have counted the votes of Nigerians or the votes of the Rivers people, today it would have been a different ball game.
Interesting point you raised, because you said something about what happened during the last election. People went out to vote and everything, but at the end, according to you, sir, they didn't count the vote of the people, and that was what happened. Now, do you think that will actually play out again this time around in the next election? When you're saying that the president might give up the 8 years, don't you think, with the fact that he still has the right to appoint the INEC chairman? INEC happens to be the umpire of the election practice in Nigeria, and the president still have the right or the power or the veto to appoint him. Wouldn't that actually still work in favor of the incumbent?
Well, I think that is our fear. That is the fear of every Nigerian. Here, I predicted this when we had a meeting with the Rivers State resident electoral commissioner. I predicted what they did, and I told my principal then when we were in a meeting with them exactly what they did, and that's what they were going to do, because I got that information right hand. And if they had taken it seriously, we would have averted it. So now that we know that, and we are also studying seriously what next, and the next pattern they are going to do. All what we need to do is to believe, and I believe when I say it again, they are going to believe me, because the other time when I said it, they took it for granted. But this time around, I'm very sure, because I've said it, they have seen it. The next antics that they are planning, we are going to get it too. People will talk to us. We have people in diaspora who are studying the whole electoral system, the INEC and the transmission system. They are studying it carefully, and we will look at the next thing they are going to say again. But in any way, it is still our fears, because they have the knife and they have the yam, and they can cut at any point where they want. But I think Nigeria will be wiser this time around to work to get and actualize their votes to count.
Engineer, the governor of Dire resigned from his position, governor of Bayelsa State, from PDP. He's yet to tell Nigerians where him and his persons, or the people that follow him, actually are moving to. And some persons were saying that this was as a result of what happened in River State. I'm talking about the suspension that the Similai Fubara got, and also the fact that PDP didn't do anything much to that effect, and that was why he's moving. Can you actually, maybe, if possible, tell us the direction you think this young man might be going to? Are we seeing him moving to APC, or where?
He has already declared for APC, and so seeing him moving to APC is certain. But these reasons, for me, is not what I can predict. However, what I think is this: everybody, or all of them who has been in power, they are seeking for relevance. And to remain relevant, he either moves to APC because the PDP has been dissipated. PDP do not exist anymore. Even the remaining governors that are in PDP will soon find somewhere to go. The Honorable Minister of the FCT is doing his job very well. And so, except something turns around, especially within the PDP, before PDP can stand again and present any candidate. And if they do not have candidates and do not have governor, of course, those of them who have been governors or who have held one position or the other in the PDP will certainly lose relevance. So
Thank you very much, Engineer Sam Kinane.